Welcome to the Real Girls of Gabbing, the podcast where two best friends rewatch and analyze your favorite Bravo TV shows. Join us while we make each other laugh, rant about Bravo drama, and go off on tangents about everything under the sun. Buckle up and get ready for a good old-fashioned gab sesh with the girls. Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Selma.
And welcome back to the final episode of this season of Real Girls of Gabbing.
The last hurrah.
Yes,
we die after this episode.
We do. This is a one and done situation.
Yeah. We're gonna do like a samurai sacrifice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who goes first? Like, are you gonna be the first one to die in this sacrifice or me?
Yeah, I don't want to watch you die.
Aw, that's romantic.
So yeah, I'll go first.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm just selfless like that.
Wow. Okay. I'm okay with that.
No, it's actually selfish of me because then that means you have to watch me die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm a very like big woman, big heart, you know.
Yeah,
like,
you can take it. You can handle it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome back, everyone. This is very exciting. Our last episode. I'm very excited to not have to edit a podcast episode for a while.
I know. Yeah. It's been like, I think because it's summer, we just have lives right now. So it's been very tough to coordinate.
Yeah, no, literally like starting in 2 weeks, we're traveling every weekend or busy every single weekend until the end of October.
That's like, okay, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have like as far in advance set out plans like you and Kevin do, but
yes, you do. You're traveling to Florida in October.
Well, yes, that is one weekend in October. Yes.
But you are also going to Europe so soon.
Yeah. And then my sister's having a baby. Like, it's just like a very busy. So I've been like going back and forth to there a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a very busy summer.
How's she feeling?
I don't know. I think with 2 kids, it's like you don't even notice the third as much. I think she does, but she doesn't mention it to me as much, you know. It's just she's got a lot. Teddy's turned into an escape artist.
Amazing.
So he like can unlock the doors, and then like the other day he just like showed up at her in-laws' house. Yeah. And like I think like the landscapers or something were out front. Yeah, no, he'll like get out and go. So
oh my God, I can't believe he's tall enough to open a door now.
I know. Yeah, no, he's their door handles are a little bit lower. I think they have to get like chain locks or something though, and like do it for every single door. Yeah, because he's an escape.
People are gonna come over and be like, "Why is the lock on the outside of the door?"
No, truly, we have to keep him in. Like that is
oh
the
my
problem.
God. Wait, does she know what gender the new baby is?
No, I think she may or may not find out. I don't know. None of us know. Actually, no, I don't think she's gonna find out because I just got texted today, like the link for everyone placing their bets for like gender.
I mean, if you already have a boy and a
height.
girl, it's like,
yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
And she didn't find out for Fiona either. So
she didn't?
No. So it's like, yeah, you're good. Who cares?
Yeah. I love that baby.
I know.
I mean, I love Teddy too, but I'm just biased because Fiona's a girl.
Yeah. And you met Fiona when she was like tiny.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's funny. She's a wild one. We took her out on like a splash pad in my mom's backyard this weekend. And she had a lot of fun, and it was like really fucking hot, so it was good. And Willa actually played in the water, and Willa hates water.
Wow. Big improvement for Willa.
I played in the water. She got splashed by Fiona and then just like rolled around in the grass. But I consider that playing in the water.
It's exposure therapy, if anything.
So yeah, no, it was good. But yeah, everyone's busy, so we've got to finish up our last season, and our Love Island schedules are just like,
oh my God,
we're so busy that it's hard to watch. Yeah,
it's consuming my life. This season, just like we said last episode, is a fucking flop. Spoiler alert, Jeremiah did go home. Thank God.
Oh yeah.
Next is Ace. Has to be Ace.
I honestly, I don't understand how Austin's made it so far because we'd
I
all
don't
made this like
either.
collective decision, but I think it's just because he's a non-problem, really.
Well, it's
He's just
also
so
because like we don't
stupid.
actually get a say. We just
Yeah.
vote and then they let the stupid fucking
And we like
Islanders vote
haven't had many votes.
at
Once I saw
all.
that thing that was like that girl on TikTok said that like there haven't been really any dates, that everyone is really playing this much more like the Traitors than like an
Yeah.
actual love show.
Well, also it's being like found out
So,
that a lot of them like knew each other beforehand. It's like giving Love Island
oh my God, did
UK.
you see the thing about, yeah,
Pepe.
did you see the thing about, oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
apparently he liked one
Shelly
of
and
the
Ace were like literally basically dating.
No, that's a lie because somebody made the same literally copy paste for Huda and Jeremiah and just
Oh,
changed it. You're
okay.
so
All right.
gullible.
I know. I'm not as invested as you.
I'm not invested either, but it came
Yes,
across
you
my foot.
are. You
No,
know
no,
way
no.
more. I
The
see a headline
comparison
and I
came
repeat it.
across.
I see a headline and I repeat it. I don't investigate. I am your like grandmother, but like 50 years younger.
Every
Like
AI
that
video,
is,
you're like,
yeah.
did you see that giraffe riding a motorcycle while eating a Big Mac?
Oh, they're really skilled nowadays. I wasn't there. I can't say it didn't
No. The
happen.
only reason I know that it's not true is because somebody did the investigating for me, basically, and put
Okay.
it side by side. But Pepe liked one of the new girls' photos before he
Oh,
came into the villa. But I honestly just feel like all of them are like clout chasing influencers. Like
yeah.
Huda, Ace had liked Huda's
Mm-hmm.
photos before, but she's like a fitness influencer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
cannot believe she has not gone home yet. Like I cannot, but like
I also can't believe like anybody like who would want to pair up with no connection could be real
right.
at this
Right.
point for her
Unless
because
the other guy is literally a psychopath as well.
and I honestly think that she would be targeted because
Yeah.
they think she's vulnerable.
Yeah.
They're like she's desperate to stay on the show. Like even if he's not a psychopath, I feel like people could totally be doing it just because they think it'll get them farther because she's for some bizarre reason a fan favorite.
It
And
honestly is concerning to me that she's a fan favorite. Like
I like she
people need help.
yeah. And like two
I'm
things
seeing
can
like
be
all these
true
edits
where
of
it's like,
her.
okay,
Go
oh
ahead,
sorry.
sorry. No, go ahead. I
I
interrupted
think
you.
two things can be true where it's like she clearly is getting like dogpiled on the internet and like
Yeah.
we need to all calm the fuck down because like we're not in these people's lives. Like
Literally,
it's not that
Ariana on After
important.
Sun was like, stop messaging people's families, stop doxing them. Like,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
insane. So like people need to literally stop acting like she's Jeffrey Dahmer because she's not. Like there's like those are that's very different. But also we can
The
say,
only thing criminal about her is her attitude and her eyelashes. That's it.
yeah, honestly, I think she's had a glow up since leaving Jeremiah, I think. I
I
think her
don't think
hair's
so.
looking better. No, I do. I think I I want her to be better, but like she's not going to be better on this
Yeah.
show. Like
Yeah,
there's it's not
100%.
a good this competitive environment. It's just not going to be good for her. The
Yeah.
fact that she like pulled Pepe immediately
Oh,
and
yeah.
never
Yeah.
spoke to Hannah about it or anything is so fucked up. Like it's just not
She's just not a girl's
yeah.
girl, unfortunately. It's just, yeah.
You're just also not going to find your stepfather, your child's stepfather on Love Island. It's not the
Yeah.
place.
No, it's not.
Everyone's like, everyone is 25 years old. If she
Yeah.
wants like to find a real ass stepfather, she should date a little bit older and like
Yeah.
someone who's very serious and like
Yeah.
prepared to take that on. These guys are like modeling and not
Yeah.
successful.
At
Like,
all. I
yeah.
also am disappointed in Taylor and Olandria, who are giving me nothing. I hope they each find somebody in Casa More. Like, I'm just over them. That like
Yeah.
they're trying to be like Serena and Cordell, and I don't like that. Like Olandria it was like obsessed with talking about how she's a slow burner, which very well could be true, but still, like,
I
we
feel
get
like
it.
if someone really enticed Delandria, I think she'd be like, okay. Now, because I get that. Like
Yeah.
maybe if something's a slow burn, like giving it a good effort
Mm-hmm.
as you get comfortable and like try to establish that friendship. But I think that like she also could be totally swept off of her feet.
I
And
think
I feel
so
like
too.
Taylor just like doesn't give that
Anything.
effort. I think he's like really lazy.
He's so lazy. Like she set up that little fruit date. Like
Mhm.
I just feel like, I don't know. I wish her and Jalen would have worked out. Also, seeing his success post.
I love it. Did you see the picture of him and his grandma?
Yes. Did you
I
see
was
that
like,
a
this is so
brand sent
sweet.
him flowers today? And he
Yeah.
was like, this is my first time getting flowers. He's literally
Yeah.
so cute.
Some girl on TikTok was crying because it was like he literally had to go and buy himself those gold balloons, set the
Yes.
self timer up, take
Yes,
the
he
photo.
commented back to her and he was like, how the hell did you know that? Tarte, the whatever the Tarte CEO's name is, she's
Yeah.
literally sending him on an all-inclusive, like all expenses paid trip to wherever he
Oh
wants
my
in the world.
God.
He really like
So cute.
skyrocketed.
No,
It's
he
very
really
cute.
came out of this great.
Yeah.
Like absolutely well done. Got out at a good time.
Yeah.
Nobody got
Seriously.
to know him well enough to know if there's anything else, you know?
I saw a clip of him going on Vile Files, which I abhor. I
I
fucking
hate
hate
Nick
that
Viall.
guy. I hate that guy. But I have listened to some of his episodes when he interviews like the Mormon wives or like other
It's
random
just
fucking
so
people.
it's
It's so
so
salacious.
fake. It's also
Yeah.
just fake. It's just
Yeah.
these are all like pre-discussed like
100%.
conversation topics. It's so inauthentic.
Yeah.
I think like the only time I ever saw a Vile file that like what didn't feel like totally pre-planned was when Tom Sandoval showed up like an hour late to the interview
Oh yeah.
and he was pissed.
Yeah.
Not Tom, the other guy.
Yeah. Nick.
Right, that one. Uh and that obviously we hate Sandoval, so it was like cool to yell
Right.
at him and stuff. But
Yeah.
all of the Mormon wives stuff, so disinterested. I do
Yeah.
not care.
But they had Jalen on it. That's what I was
love it.
getting to. I was
Okay.
getting to that. They had Jalen on it, and Nick in the teaser was like, I see that you follow every single person but Huda. And Jalen's like, damn, y'all asking me the wrong question. It's really cute. So I'm gonna listen to it. Speaking of podcasts, also groundbreaking, probably my second favorite next to Alex Cooper interviewing Monica Lewinsky on her Call Her Daddy. She's fucking having Mariska Hargitay as a guest, and the interview comes out tomorrow.
I saw that just because you posted
My story. If you know me, you know that is the most exciting thing ever. I am so excited. I'm literally gonna save it for when I get home so that I can watch it. Like, because she does the visuals.
The documentary's not out yet, right?
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll be the first viewer.
25 Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I will be 12:01 a.m. pushing play
Yep,
on
exactly.
HBO. Yeah.
It should be good. I mean, she's had
it looks good.
A very interesting, and her mom died when she was so young. So I think that's just a really interesting topic.
I think so too. There's a lot of good media out right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't keep up with things. My podcasts are usually like political news or like historical retrospectively looking at like our time today.
I'm like listening to Alex Cooper on Dax Shepard.
Yeah, no, I don't listen to any of that stuff.
That was a really good podcast episode though.
Dax Shepard annoys me.
Me too.
Yeah.
But the only reason I listened to it was because I watched the Alex Cooper like 2-part documentary on Hulu, and then she went on Dax Shepard, and she like never is on podcasts. Like she never goes on podcasts. So she just talked a lot about her like her sexual assault and harassment with her soccer coach.
Oh, at the Boston. Yeah.
So it was a really good interview.
Okay.
But I'm done talking about Alex Cooper. I feel like talking about her. I like her. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I honestly stopped listening to that podcast when I was like a sophomore in college.
I started listening to it like a year ago.
Yeah, no, I listened to it like early on when it was just like sex tips, basically.
When she was by herself, or she was still Sophia?
No, it was when she was a Sophia.
Yeah.
I listened to that back in like 2018, 2017.
Yeah.
And it was just like how to do a blowjob.
Yeah.
And then I think I was like, well, I'm just kind of like bored by this now.
Yeah.
You can only describe that so many ways.
Yeah.
So then I never like clocked back in. But
yeah, she talks about like in the documentary how that like persona in the beginning days of Call Her Daddy is so different than who she actually is, and how that entire time she was just like putting on like a facade, you know, because that's what was like working in that like very male dominated field of podcasting.
Oh yeah, like with Dave Portnoy, like it was just She was just making him a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Always glad to see somebody get away from that monster. Well, I
Yeah,
don't know.
what a fucking
There might be
creep.
a long, like a
No.
strong word, but I don't know anything about the man other than he exploits female labor. So,
Yeah, and he was like doing coke in a with a bunch of college girls. He's just fucking weird.
oh, weird.
His only redeeming quality is that he adopted 2 dogs. And I think he gives back, I think he donates money to charities, but I'm sure that's just
He
a fucking
donates to a
tax
lot of
write-off.
cops. He's a big cop guy. Like,
Oh, fuck.
which it's
Never
like to
mind.
donate to cops, like they get the most donations.
Literally, not even
Like,
they
what are
get
you
federal funding.
right? Yeah, like what are we? That's wasted money.
Yeah, seriously.
Like if you're just trying to strategize how you spend your money, but
Yeah. Not a very
me
diverse
giving financial
portfolio.
advice.
Yeah, shitty guy.
Yeah. What else? Is there any other news that has happened in the Bravo world? I'm trying to
I
think.
started Atlanta.
Oh, right.
Huge.
Yes, you have.
So good.
I think I'm gonna rewatch it because you keep texting me things and I'm like it's like
It's
a
not clicking.
vague memory in the
Yeah.
back of my in the recesses of my brain.
Yeah.
I haven't like watched Atlanta from the beginning
Me
in a
texting
really,
you,
really
wait,
long
does
time.
Candy Burris have HIV? You
I
being
was
like,
like,
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Did you find
I
we don't.
can't find anything.
Yeah.
I think honestly, she was doing a monologue, and I don't know if it's her monologue or if it's like a scripted thing.
So I was reading when you texted that, then I searched and it seems like she has a cousin who that
Oh, okay,
so
okay,
maybe
okay.
she was reading her cousin's monologue
Maybe,
or like one
maybe.
of the people she advocates for or something.
Because
I have
she's
no
a really
idea.
big advocate,
Yeah.
like for awareness and like funding for HIV and AIDS awareness. So
Yeah.
I thought like maybe that's why, but I don't know. I don't, this is not me saying that she has
Yeah.
HIV or AIDS, just for the record.
Yeah. No, I love Candy and
I love her.
I do like Riley on Next Gen. I think that
Riley.
Riley
Oh,
Burke, her
yes, yes,
daughter.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes. Yeah.
yeah. I
She
think
was also
she's
so smart as a little kid. Like when she's sitting in the bed having a
yeah.
conversation with Candy, and she's like, when her dad's like trying to come back into her life, and she's like, I don't need a dad. Like I just want you. And I was like, oh,
That's so
that's really
sweet.
sad.
Yeah.
But I like her, and I like her art
You
and
said
art.
sad. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Different interpretation. I think it's sweet in the sense of like she felt very secure with
Yes,
Candy.
and that she
Yeah.
loves her mom very much.
Yeah.
But I do like that her and Ariana are becoming friends again and later in life.
And I didn't honestly, I love that Ariana's airing the dirty laundry of her
Mhm.
family because her family, Kim Zolciak is like a terrorist. And I will go on the record saying that.
No, she is terrible.
She's
The way that she treated her assistant in season 3 was like I was like reading a subreddit
yeah.
about it. Like it was
How
bad.
she read what was her name? Yeah, how she treated her assistant Sweetie was just it was she would just, and Sweetie stays with her for like a decade. Like it's a really long time.
Oh
Because
my
I
God.
remember her
Okay,
being in
Stockholm
her big
syndrome.
mansion with Kroll and her being like, Sweetie, and she just screamed, which is like insane to like refer to anybody by screaming at the top of your lungs, like to get their attention.
My
Sweetie's with
God.
her for a really, really long time. And I doubt she was getting fairly compensated. I
No, I mean, dude, if Ariana wasn't even seeing those checks, I doubt Sweetie was, you know?
yeah. I don't
just
even think
finished like
Kim would have even considered to like put any money on the side for her
No.
daughters. I don't think that would have been a fleeting like thought in her mind.
I just finished the episode where she's doing the yard sale in front of the Burger King storage unit. And then
I
they're
mean,
like
she is
sitting
like
inside the Burger
memorable.
King and they're like, how are you only 6 months pregnant, but the doctor's telling you to have the baby at 7 months? Like something's not adding up.
No, it's like I don't have you gotten to the like the it's not a dinner, it's like a brunch.
Mother's Day?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the
and he
Mother's
brings her
Day
the
brunch.
Gucci bag.
Everyone's so confused.
So
Everyone's like
somebody was like, wait, are you not going to see him at home later? Like, why do you have to bring the gift here?
Yeah. No, when Phaedra is like getting questioned about the dates and everything.
No.
Oh, I thought that was the Mother's
Oh,
Day brunch.
yes.
Yeah,
Phaedra's.
that's
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. We're
Yeah.
talking about different pregnancies.
No. I'm talking about what you're talking about, where
Yes.
where they're at Cynthia's house.
Okay, yes, and it's
Yes.
for Mother's Day,
Yes,
right?
it's for Mother's
Yes,
Day.
because
Yes.
Mama, yeah, because Candy's mom is there.
Yes, Mama was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Also, I noticed that in one of the episodes when Candy goes to Mama's house, Mama has the pillow that says Kim and Candy from the birthday party that Kim threw for them. The red pillow.
no, oh my God, when Kim like gets like a little bit of the fame in her head and the way she fucks over Candy is crazy.
I haven't gotten
Did
to
you know
that
some
yet.
of the songs that Candy has written are like, I mean,
No
it's
scrubs.
well,
Yeah.
no scrubs, yeah. And then
Yeah.
is it Miss Independence? It's one of the like
Big.
most popular
Yeah. No,
Destiny
she's
Child
super
songs.
talented.
And then like obviously she wrote a Ariana Grande song. Like she's
Oh, really? Oh
mhm,
my God, good
yeah.
for her. Yeah, you can tell she's super talented.
Yeah. No,
And
and
she
so
has
she
like
has real
good
money.
relationships. Yeah. And she has like good relationships in the music industry.
Yeah. No, she definitely does. Yeah, I think she's very respected. Um, yeah, and then she does, I mean, and she like she's one of the few people who like one few housewives like in all of the franchises who like does a business and like it makes her money.
You know
Um,
what she was doing in one of the episodes was webcasting. Remember when she has that little show?
no, I don't
It's
remember
like
that.
literally the original podcast. Like
Oh my
it was like
God.
webcasting, and she's sitting there with all of her friends on their laptops,
Oh
and
my
it's
God,
like the sex
Pioneer.
show. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Candy's Corner or something like that.
Yes, she calls
Yeah.
it a webcast.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah,
That's
no,
so
she's
cute.
a pioneer. You'll see her like when she does like Candy's Dungeon or something like that. It's
Okay.
like her sex show thing.
Nice.
She gets
Is
very into vibrators.
nice.
Yeah,
Good
that's
for
like
her.
yeah,
Must have been
that's
sponsored. Probably like the original.
she like has her own line. Like she's like very in it. And then they do a lot of like lingerie parties at that.
And then that's where the legacy of vibrator started because then who started doing it later? Teresa Giudice, right?
Well,
Wasn't
then
she handing out
everybody got like a Belesa subscription, whatever
Yeah.
that they all got that like BuzzFeed one that like
Yes.
everyone the
Which
little red
vibrator
one.
are you? Take our
Yeah,
BuzzFeed quiz
no.
now.
Yeah. No, everyone started selling that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. If I have to
What a
see
time.
one more housewife in a bath with her husband and then like
Oh my
chill
God.
vibrators, I can't do it.
There were parts of season 2 where I wasn't a big fan of Nene either, but you really see how her relationship with Greg affects her in season 3.
Nene is like she she's so important to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like she is like involved in almost every important moment
Yeah.
that made that show what it was.
Yeah.
She looks so different now.
I know. I looked at her Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. She like reverse aged. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah. But I do like Nene and
Yeah.
I miss her on my screen because they're bringing back all these other ladies.
Oh, she's not on it anymore?
No.
Oh, spoiler.
Yeah. Oh,
I have no
I'm so
idea.
sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're bringing back a bunch of the other ladies. Honestly, I'm shocked. I didn't, you don't know the reason why Phaedra got kicked off,
I
but
don't.
like, it's insane.
I'm not a fan of hers though. She's talking
I,
about beating the shit out of her kid. I'm not a fan of her.
Phaedra? She talks
Yes.
about that while pregnant?
Yes, she's sitting down with Apollo and she's like, if our kid, kids are to be not to be seen or heard, like blah, blah, blah. And then she's like,
Oh,
when the kid comes out, like if they look at me wrong or talk to me the wrong way, they're getting like the shit beat out of them. And Apollo's like, no. And she's like, yes. And then she goes off on this whole
Apollo says no.
yes. Then she goes off on this whole tangent about Apollo was raised in a biracial household, so he doesn't know like how to be punished properly. And I'm like, okay, you need psychological help because that's actually illegal.
Yeah, do you know about Apollo?
No, I know he went to prison for 8
Okay.
years for
You'll
Rico
see
or some shit.
You'll see some like things and you're like, "Oh my God, he's not."
Well, and I know that they get divorced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not a great guy. I know they're okay now, but when their relationship is devolving, it's pretty bad. Phaedra like plays this like Southern hospitality, Southern belle like girl so much. And I think it's just like like you think you have to act like that because you're on this TV show and like you think that that's gonna get you like notoriety by being like this quintessential Southern Belle or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of drops that back. She is very entertaining. I like Phaedra.
It's the
And I
same way
like
that
that she's
Kim
on my
acts like
screen.
she's rich, but she's actually not, like that
Yeah.
whole facade.
Yeah. No, Phaedra has this way of navigating that's like she observes quite a bit, so she's good at like
I mean, yeah, she's a lawyer.
setting people in place that I very much enjoyed, but I didn't remember her saying any of that. But yeah, I also don't remember most of it, Early Atlanta, because I have not watched it in years.
You got to go back and rewatch it with me.
Yeah, I will have to. I will have to.
Speaking of Housewives, should we get
yes.
into our part 2 of the season 1 reunion?
Yes, I think we should. Today I will be covering Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 1, episode 9, Watch What Happens, part 2. So yeah, let's buckle up for this reunion. Reminder, the last episode was super jumpy, and this one is too, but we're gonna cover the like big dinner scene again in this one.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, they, open up just talking about some family stuff. Andy's asking everybody about how their kids are acclimating to being on the show, and it's all positive. This leads Andy to bringing up what I thought was the most interesting part, because I did a deep dive on this interesting part of the episode, and it is about Dina and Tommy's wedding.
Okay.
So, as we learned on the last episode, Tommy's a piece of shit. He's terrible. At the point of this season, I think they'd been married for about I think they'd been married for about 4 years by the time, or 3 years when this was filming. And basically we learned that she had spent like over $1 million on her wedding. And I'm like, how the heck? Yeah, that's what Andy says. He's like, did you really spend $1 million on your wedding? She's like, oh, no, no, no. And I'm like, why are people talking about it? Why did you get a question about that from one of the viewers at home? It's because Miss Dina was on a reality show before this. It was an MTV, or wait, what was it called? Oh, Dina was on a reality TV show before this. It was VH1's My Big Fat Fabulous Wedding. Okay.
Oh my God. I have to watch this.
Yes. So it's hard to find, but there was a really in-depth blog post about it, and the trailer is still out. So I watched the trailer for that episode, and then I also I read the blog post, which was like actually really it was just tearing apart Dina's personality, and like really psychoanalyzing the relationship, being like, he hates you, but you just steal his money. So I didn't take any of the words that were said from that person seriously, because I obviously don't like them. But had a lot of screen grabs and like the prices and everything. And that's where they're pulling this number from.
Got it.
He has a big fat fabulous wedding at the brownstone. So we also see a bunch of the other Manzo people in this. And yeah, we don't get a lot of insight into Tommy, like from, the viewer's perspective from the show. So I thought that it was actually a good segment in trying to understand the relationship a little bit more. I mean, well, good segment in what I'm doing right now, because they didn't show that on on Real Housewives. But I think watching that helped like contextualize what their relationship dynamic would have been like, just for my eyes. And especially because we know about everything that happened, you really see how shitty he is, because he seemed shitty from the minute they met.
Yeah.
So we find out that Caroline, in this episode of VH1's My Big Fat Fabulous Wedding, we find out that Caroline set up Tommy and Dina. Dina had known Tommy since she was 9.
Oh,
but he was like 15, so he was also a minor. Still bleh, but like,
yeah, but 9 and 15 is like 120.
Yeah. Yes.
Such a big difference.
Yes, it is. So Tommy started to come around Caroline's house a lot more after Dina had her divorce from Lexi's dad. And Tommy just really lit up when Dina was in the room. So Caroline encouraged the relationship, and they really started a relationship almost immediately after she moved into the Manzo, after Dina moved into the Manzo house. So, they're basically this whole episode, they're planning the wedding. 750 people attend total. Okay. It becomes this issue. Now, Tommy starts like photocopying the invite, giving it to like any random person who exists. Dina starts giving it out to the gas station attendants because she's just mad that Tommy's invited so many people that like in spite she's
So
She's
funny, actually.
inviting gas station attendants. And she was like, honestly, I know him better than like these people
I
are
mean, yeah, they
pumping my
pump
gas.
her gas for her,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So yeah, it's very weird dynamic. Dina's
Hmm.
way more into the wedding planning than he is, but he just like really wants to put on a show for his friends. Like that's you can very much tell that it's like, oh, he's just inviting everybody because he wants to be the big fat Italian guy,
Right,
like
right.
and spending all this money, $1,000 bottles of wine, and oh yeah, let's do everything like so grand it doesn't matter. Money's not a thing. But then like literally could not care about a detail when Dina tries to like actually talk to him about like flowers or anything like that. He's
You
only
know what
caring
money
about
can't buy you?
class.
Glass.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Actually the florals are pretty insane. Like
Okay.
I'll get more into the breakdown of pricing in a
Okay.
bit. So, basically this whole episode we see of the Big Fat Fabulous Wedding. We see Dina, Tommy, Lexi, Caroline, and Albert. Those are the housewife people that we see on it. Throughout the whole episode, Dina's crying about Tommy being obnoxious. Uh, Tommy is just like so, like I said, disengaged. At one point, he in the episode,
You hear
he's
that?
just
Sorry.
I did hear something.
It's a
Whatever.
dog barking. I'm sorry.
Oh,
In the
okay.
episode, sorry, say that again.
Yeah. So in the episode, we see Tommy get escorted to the wedding in a police procession. He literally did not tell Dina this was a plan, which again goes to
Oh
the
my
he only cares
God.
about his show
Yeah.
of force and also like hello mob connections. Okay, the fucking police are escorting you to
Mhm.
your wedding. That's not normal. Um, and yeah, Dina only found out about this when her limo was cut off by the police on their way to the church.
My God, that's fucked up.
And then Tommy also in this episode, he didn't want to be introduced with Dina like in the wedding for the
What?
reception. He just wanted to go in and like enjoy his party. So Dina cries to Caroline. Caroline yells at Albert and then Albert yells at Tommy to go walk into
Did
your
Tommy know that
wedding
he
with
was
your
going to
wife.
his own fucking wedding? What an
No,
asshole.
Tommy's like, I just want to go in like and say hello to the guests. Like, why do I
No.
have to do this? And Dina she looks beautiful. She's wearing this like actually she looks beautiful, but I also would not. It was like a custom Versace, not Versace.
I was gonna say, damn.
It was some custom fancy wedding dress. I think it was bought at Kleinfeld's. It looked like Kleinfeld's to
Mm,
me, but I don't know. But it had like a collar. It was odd. But she
okay.
does look beautiful because she's just beautiful. So,
Yeah.
um, like she is just excited to like present their love and he just wants to like go and smoke a cigar with the guys and like drink the fancy wine and whatever. He literally could not care less about her being a part of their wedding. And
I'm
it's
I'm
horrible.
looking, I'm trying to find the picture. Oh, is there a photo of her with Lexi?
Maybe I watched the
I
trailer
see
and
it.
that's what I'm commenting on.
It
Okay.
has like it's like a lace collar.
Something like that. It
Yeah.
almost looks like a polo neck.
Yes, I see it. I
Yeah.
see it. Very interesting. Her
Like
hair's
she's
like in a half up, half down.
yeah.
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 All right. Well,
You
teach their
know,
own.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 2004 or 5 or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. Not my favorite thing, but
Yeah.
whatever. She spent a fuck ton of money on this.
Yeah.
So the price breakdown, okay. Uh, they spent close to $500,000 on just flowers and decor. Okay,
What?
the total cost that's revealed at the end of this episode is $1,150,000.
That's even what's crazy about that is that that's with the family discount. I'm doing it
So
at the brownstone.
I don't think it is. So I
Okay.
think I what blogs were saying was that price was inflated because a lot of the services and like paying for the venue were obviously free.
Right.
At the same time though, it's like, okay, but it might be free to you right now, but if you're booking this for however many days because you're doing this huge thing and the install, like it's really not free because
Can the
you're having
brownstone
to
even
pay
fit
for
that
all
many people? Like,
it can. Yeah, it's a pretty big
that's
venue.
crazy.
I think they just like use the whole place. Yeah, so I feel like they must have lost money because they weren't able to
Yeah.
rent it out to somebody else for the weekend, but
Right.
whatever. They spent a fuck ton of money and they seem so miserable the whole time.
Oh
Like
my
literally
God.
Tommy
That's
does not want to be by
terrible.
Dina. Dina's like crying. She's not having a good time. It seems awful. It seems like this was doomed. Um, the takeaways that we learn in this trailer. This is me reading a blog in a trailer, so the takeaways that I really thought were the most important from this little episode was that Dina and Tommy were together for 5 years before they got married. Dina says that Tommy cheated on her a couple of times and that Tommy has a receding hairline and is a fucking asshole who didn't know how to show Dina the affection that she deserves. And he really just cared about like appearances and having a hot wife. So like he was always just a terrible,
Yeah.
terrible, terrible person.
That's awful.
But yeah, it's like at one point she's like, he has cheated on me a couple of times, and he's like, now I'm a good boy or something. It's really
Ew.
fucking weird. I hate their dynamic.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, not my thing at all. But I do
Yeah.
have the links for the Reddit thread and the blog that I read.
Perfect. We'll put them in the
You
sources.
put them in the sources. But yeah, so that is like the first, this was just my other stupid little deep dive about Dina. And that's just really how we're opening up this reunion episode.
Great.
So we continue talking about Dina after the little mention about the $1 million wedding. And we're talking about Dina's difficulty in her transition in this life and her role. She says that the reason why she has to leave her career behind right now is because she works Friday night and every weekend for the last 3 years, and she's missed a lot of family time. She plans on working again when Lexi doesn't need her as much and is filling her time with charity work right now. So she's still doing the Ladybug Foundation.
Okay. 5 to 10 hours a week though, if you remember.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Which like I guess if it's a one-woman show.
It's not. There were other people working there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There were other people on the tax filing.
But oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like really buy any of this stuff. I feel like a lot of it was probably Tommy pressure.
For sure.
I get like wanting to be more of a like present mom, but I feel like Tommy really hated that she had any sort of autonomy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah.
So next we jump to Danielle. And now it's a normal like reunion episode. We do a recap of Danielle's scene, see the most important moments of the season. And yeah, Danielle really does look amazing for 45, which it's crazy because she's like the same age, I think, as Caroline. And like
no, she did say that during the dinner.
And Danielle like really, really, really does look amazing.
Yeah.
We get a Steve jump scare because he was in so much of this fucking season.
I know.
We get an update about Gucci Model. Remember Gucci Model? The guy the guy who stood her up at the bar.
Yes.
And then she started chatting with the other ladies at the bar, talking about I think they had just like sexted online or something like that, and then he didn't show up. Well, apparently he reached out and said that he was there, but he got scared because of the cameras, and they've never met.
Whatever. Loser.
I think that like might be bullshit from Danielle, just because like
show me the text. I want to see the text message.
Yeah. No, it's probably like what's between all the sex, and I don't want to see those ones. I'm good.
Yeah.
Teresa tries to chime in a little bit about what she knows about their relationship, about Steve and Danielle's relationship. I truly don't trust anything that Steve told Teresa. And oh my God, what's his name? Joe. I was about to be like Jim.
Good old Jim.
Good old Jim. Jim Judice. I don't trust anything that Steve tells them. I think Steve's like a piece of shit 26-year-old.
Yeah.
And then we see Danielle crying about the going after her husband rumor. Danielle is then asked about what really upset her about this being the rumor of being a husband cheater and, getting around town all the time. And she says that what really hurt her is because Jackie brought it to the cameras and Danielle is very against the act of like being a cheater or anything because that's happened to her. So I think particularly this rumor hurt what she's saying right now is this rumor hurt her mostly because like Jackie, who knows this stuff, brought it forward. And she would have expected better from her. So we've talked to Danielle this episode, we talked to Dina this episode, and now we're going to talk about their conflict. So we get a recap again of all of their scenes and issues. And Danielle does admit that she says she doesn't like the way she looked or sounded on camera, and she's learned a lot. She doesn't say specifically what. I'm hoping she's referring to all of the fat shaming that she does to
Yeah.
Dina. But she says she regrets some of her language. So I guess that's a little bit of growth.
Yeah.
So now we're transitioning back to the dinner scene. We get a whole big segment about the book. Basically, the rest of this reunion episode is about the book and the dinner and conflict surrounding it. So, this is at the point, I know I mentioned this last time, this is at the point in the reunion that we find out that Danielle and Jackie have only been friends for a year before shooting. And I know we discussed this, but like that's just so crazy, and it also explains why it was like so weird for why the family felt it was so weird for Jackie to be defending Danielle as hard as she was. But yeah, so we find that out in this point. Andy decides to ask Danielle, okay, like, let's just set the record straight and talk about the claims in the book, and you can go down the list and say, did this
One
happen
by
or
one.
did this not happen? Okay. So he goes down the list. He says, Colombian drug dealer. Danielle says she won't discuss a major Colombian drug dealer because who in their right mind would do that? And people need to wait for her book that she's writing.
Valid.
He says a prostitute, and she goes, not a paid escort. He goes, a raging nymphomaniac. She goes, a bit true. And then he asks about the kidnapping. She says that she's not involved in the kidnapping. She was arrested as an accessory and pled guilty to a plea bargain, which does not answer that question at all. Pled guilty to a plea
Pleading
bargain.
guilty means that you are guilty, honey.
And pleading guilty to a plea bargain, that doesn't even mean any, like,
you plead guilty because they offered you a plea bargain.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah. Like if you didn't do it, then you wouldn't plead guilty.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah. So she's very sidestepping like what the plea bargain was for.
Right.
Like I pled guilty to a plea bargain. Well, okay, then what was the plea? Like
right.
You know. But yeah, whatever. She's not saying what she pled guilty to. He says stripper. She goes burlesque and go-go dancer, not a stripper. She always wore a bra and like underwear or something.
Okay.
And her forte was hanging upside down and twirling around on a pole. So good for her. And then she offers to help Teresa learn. Teresa's very uncomfortable. Andy says, are you a pathological liar? She goes, I'm not a pathological liar. Andy asks her about a cocaine problem. She says she did not have a cocaine problem, but she loved smoking pot prior to children.
Okay.
Again, this is also all wrong based on the actual court records that you have looked up.
Yeah.
And then I thought actually this part was like really, really profound is maybe overselling it. But I think that she shows a lot of insight in this moment in a way where I don't think the other ladies are treating this as gossip and rumors.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually just like a really horrendous part of Danielle's story and a part of her life that she wishes she could have left in the past. And she kind of goes into it here. Danielle says that her ex-husband, who's the subject of the book, used to beat her relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And she's lucky that she got away.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably should have given a trigger warning. Like that you can like fast forward like 30 seconds. But Danielle talks about being a tortured child.
Mm.
She says that her birth mom immigrated from Italy at 14 and had Danielle at 15. Her mom immigrated without family. So she ended up putting, her birth mom put Danielle up for adoption, and she was adopted into a pretty abusive family. Again, I keep saying like trigger warning. Danielle says that she was raped by the age of 8 by a family member and tossed around like a rag doll.
Terrible.
She says she left home at a very young age and she's like, it's really sad. She's sobbing. She says, I was brutalized. She's crying and saying that this ex-husband terrorized her in her life, and none of the women on that show cared that this man was so horrible to her and that all of this stuff was surfacing. She wanted the ladies to know how scared she was and that all she wanted was a friend. Um, she said she said she wasn't so lucky and they're very blessed and she's happy for them, but she didn't have that same upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's really fucking brutal. She's sobbing, she's hunched over, she has like a hand on her neck, almost like she's like hugging herself,
Mm-hmm.
um, like making herself small. It's very, very sad.
Yeah.
And it was very honest.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I mean, like, I don't think that she should have ever had to be in a position to have to go on
Mm-hmm.
television and like reveal all of these things. But it makes sense why this would have all been so distressing for her.
Right. Right.
Why she would want to leave this in her past and like not have to talk about it with her kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am also like annoyed at Teresa who's sitting next to her who like doesn't like even put a hand on her or anything. Like she's literally, and not that maybe she wouldn't have wanted to be touched in that moment, but like
Yeah. But
the
just
empathy
something.
the empathy is lacking in that
Mm-hmm.
room. And I think that's gross. I don't know how you hear that story and you're not like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is horrible. So
Right.
I thought that was disappointing in the other ladies to me.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle does say that she felt very embraced by the public.
That's good.
Yeah, and she wants people to want her, which is
Yeah.
sad. Um, she says like all of this, it's like an aphrodisiac for her. Uh, and this is when she says that fans are offering her protection against her ex-husband, and her ex is going down. And Andy's like, "Is that a death threat?" And she's like, "No, like his 15 minutes of fame are almost over."
Mm-hmm.
I really truly think that because she does this in a later season's reunion where like these like offers of protection or like her correspondence is literally just people tweeting at her and they're like
Yeah.
in like someone's subtweets and it's like okay, I
Yeah.
don't know how like what protection really means in this context, but it
Yeah.
doesn't feel that real.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big moment just talking about Danielle's past. And hopefully that wasn't too distressing to hear, but I think it was important context
Yeah,
for her
for
to
sure.
hear. So next we transition to talking about the table throwing scene
Okay.
more in detail, like beyond the book.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things. I remember you talking about how we thought Dina seemed really guilty because she was like, you know, very
Up and
frazzled.
down and yeah.
Yes. So she mentioned specifically, Dina says that she was running between Teresa and Caroline because she was trying to calm both of them down so that it didn't like escalate. Obviously, she was not good at her job. She did not do
Yeah.
that well.
Yeah.
Caroline really fucking harps on how she's upset that her mom is going to see this and that her mother doesn't deserve that.
I
And
don't give a fuck about your mama.
yeah,
I don't care.
I literally could not give fucking less shits like about this.
Yeah.
Like it's the last thing I give a shit about. Caroline says that she did nothing wrong and like, you know, she didn't she didn't like go around saying like hear ye about like the two Franklin links about
I
the
mean,
Danielle stuff.
lying is wrong.
Yeah. And it's like her mother is going to have to hear. Yeah, she says specifically that her mother's going to be upset that from what Jackie said and from Jackie defending Danielle at the dinner scene.
I
She's
don't
like her mother's going to
care.
have to hear her say that, you know, Jackie's upsetting her mother. And it's like,
But what about
why,
how you
what?
upset your
But you
mother?
upset Jackie. Like,
Yeah.
why would your mom be upset that she has to hear you say like it makes no
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
It's literally just Caroline being stupid and like protective of her family, and it makes no sense. But she says it in an assertive way, and somehow it's like, oh, that's Bible. But it's like, no,
No.
you're bullshitting.
Yeah, it's not.
Jackie says that she was upset because she thought Dina was denying any involvement. So
Mhm.
in that dinner scene, apparently there was a miscommunication. I assume that there was probably a conversation that's
Several.
happened after
Right.
after this dinner scene, and they figured out how they were going to tackle this conversation. Because I know that in later Jersey seasons, they talk about how normal sit downs are for them. So
Right.
I think that was to be expected in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie says that, or Dina claims that she took responsibility for involvement, but she was never like the physical owner of the book.
Yeah, nobody was, because remember
Yeah.
Caroline went to the library and rented
Library.
it.
I know. Yeah, but she's like, no, no, no. I like that's what she's like, I took it responsibility. I don't remember her ever taking fucking responsibility at this
Never.
dinner scene. But she's saying she took
Never.
responsibility,
She did
but
not
she was never the person to like be
bring the
have it
book.
in her hands. Like she didn't bring it forward.
Remember then
And
Jackie was like, no, you brought
yes.
the book to
Yes. So
Chateau.
they get into this. It's very convoluted and it's like a confusing lie that nobody really understands like how it got
Well,
to
they
where it
probably
was.
told so many iterations of the lie at
Yes.
this point that nobody knows what the actual truth is anymore.
So Dina and Caroline kind of get into that part. They say that the book came up because there was a party at the Brownstone and one of their nieces went up to Caroline and Dina and told them about the book. Apparently the niece had heard about the book from Danielle's friend. So Caroline and Dina like go to the computer and they're like searching it up. Somewhere at this party, Jackie's there and she hears about it after they had found out about it, but like within the same event.
Mm-hmm.
It's just later that night. So from Jackie's perspective, I think she thought that Dina was like more involved in it, in like the finding out of this book existing, because
Mm-hmm.
Caroline goes to the library and gets the book for her, Dina, and Jackie to go through. Caroline said that she needed to know for her children's safety and she needed to investigate this book. I think the word investigate literally is being like interchangeably used with like Google. Like,
Well, remember
I
Caroline
think
was
that
like
she's.
obsessed with saying that she was going to investigate Danielle.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
so
think that
that tracks.
I think she means like I just Googled her. I
Yeah,
really don't think that means that she did anything other
yeah,
than
for sure.
Google.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, I think it makes it seem more conniving than it really was. I think it was like you probably heard something and then you
Yeah.
Googled it. And
Yeah.
if I use the word investigate every time I fucking Google something personal about someone, like I
Yeah.
would probably
You'd
be
be a licensed
violating a lot
PI.
of. But yeah, so Caroline says that she barely knew Danielle and didn't like she barely knew Danielle and she didn't like Danielle. So the fact that she had the content of this book, she like she immediately took everything for fact and didn't have any questions. It just like
You, when
reaffirmed
you
her
see a
hatred.
headline.
Yes, no, for sure. Absolutely. My toxic trait is to be Caroline Manzo. That's why I would get along. Uh no, yeah. So she was looking for any sort of confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And she saw this book and it like affirmed all of her feelings about hating
Hmm.
Danielle. Danielle claims that she had to be driven home from the dinner scene because she had a nervous breakdown and her daughters had to sleep together in bed for quite a few nights, which is wild because she was literally cheersing
No,
with
but
like
even after
champagne
that,
with
she was smoking a cigarette outside talking to her daughters afterwards. Because I watched
yeah.
extra episode that they had
Hmm.
about the dinner, and she was fine.
Yeah, no,
And that's not to
she's
say that like people can't have panic attacks. Panic attacks.
Monica talks.
There I go with my fucking accents again. But it seemed like she was completely fine when she left. So maybe she couldn't drive
Yeah.
home because she was fucking sloshed from cheersing with Jim Judice.
Yeah, I think that's probably more. I
Yeah.
can understand. I heard her daughters do read as co-slept for a very long time.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
past the appropriate age of
Yeah.
co-sleeping.
Yeah.
That's very,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's very
Not
vibe.
because they wanted to, but because Danielle wanted them to.
Danielle,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And she wears them down talking to them while they're sitting in her bed and they just fall
Right.
asleep. So Caroline says that she has no shame in doing what she did.
We're aware.
And yeah, she obviously. And that Danielle doesn't. Oh, so Danielle, she really doesn't want to let it go and thinks that it's more like Dina had more involvement. And it because she was told by people, quote unquote people, that it was Dina. And she calls it spoken truth. I don't know. She's saying that it's spoken truth that Dina was more involved in the finding of this book. At this point, who the fuck cares?
Hmm.
Who cares if a niece told Caroline and Dina at the same time or separately, or they spoke about it, or they were Googling with Jackie? It doesn't fucking matter. But Danielle is like a dog with a bone. She wants to think that Dina did it, and she's still talking about it. And I really think that this like spoken truth is just like strangers coming up to her on the street
Yeah.
or like something she made up in her head. Like this spoken truth does not fucking matter. You all just need to move on.
Yeah.
Danielle does say that she's reflected on this whole thing, and she thinks she was very angry because of what people were feeding her about Dina. So she says it's spoken truth, but at the same time it's like, all right, I do realize that these spoken truths made me angry. And
Hmm.
I think she absolutely still blames Dina for all of it.
Yeah,
She's
for
just
sure.
she's jealous of Dina and wants to wear her like last season's Versace.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So this is the final part, like the final scene of the show of this season.
Hmm.
Okay. There is like one more episode. I'm not even gonna mention it. It's the behind the,
As you mention it.
yeah, whatever. It's the lost footage. It's
Yeah.
stupid. It's just like
Stupid.
the family scenes that were cut that weren't important enough.
That were
There's
cut for a reason.
Yeah. There's one weird scene where like Teresa's at the reunion, like getting in a verbal little like spat with Danielle's makeup artist, and they're like, "Hey, you bitch!" Like under your fucking under their breath. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
stupid, and that's all that happened in that. This is actually a pretty interesting scene, and I think it kind of sets up the Caroline and Dina dynamic that we see like now, like
Hmm.
15 years later. So Danielle does formally apologize to Dina. Dina accepts it, and she says that time will tell if her and Danielle can be friends again. She's willing to give Danielle the benefit of the doubt because Danielle admits that she was a broken person and she was in the wrong. So if in a year from now Danielle's still solid and apologetic to Dina, then she could see them being friends.
Which is
Okay.
just so crazy to me that Danielle's apologizing to Dina.
I don't understand it
It's
at all.
so backwards.
It's so bizarre. And Danielle, I don't think Danielle wants I because it didn't make sense. She was just yelling about Dina.
Right.
She was just
I
saying
feel like
like
we
I think
missed a
Dina.
part. Like they
No,
left a part out.
no, I think it's literally Danielle is just like, I have to apologize to keep being on the show. That's my opinion. So it makes no sense. Danielle's like all of a sudden apologizing. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think Dina is an empathetic person, so she heard all of this
I
terrible
think
thing.
she also just really wants
She just
to
doesn't
be
care.
done with Danielle.
She wants to be done. Yeah.
Yeah.
She thinks she's better than Danielle. She is better than Danielle. She wants to
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dina was all right, let's move on. Caroline
Oh, Lord.
reacted ridiculously. She says that like she didn't even get the apology, okay? When she's commenting on the apology. She says that too much has gone down and she can't be Danielle's friend. Caroline is just like she's fuming, and she has her bright red hair and her bright
Hmm.
pink dress. Like she looks like an apple. Like she's
A
so red.
Honeycrisp apple.
She's so red.
Yeah.
She's so red and frustrated. Dina's saying like, I just want us to move forward, and Caroline, don't bring it up. And like literally Caroline's like shaking, and she's like finger in the face shaking and like
What
starting
the
to cry.
fuck?
And you're like, what the fuck's happening? So Caroline says that someone approached Dina and they were asked to do something to Dina.
Basically, like Danielle ordered a hit on Dina.
Yes, but then
Yes.
that person went and like told Dina. So, Caroline says this, and then she says it's just beyond reasonable or hurtful or necessary. Like this, I can never be friends with you. Okay?
Who says this?
Um,
Dina?
Caroline.
Okay.
Caroline's
Oh,
saying it.
Caroline. She's still
And
fucking
Dina's
talking.
like, don't bring it up. Literally, Dina's like,
Right.
don't bring it up.
Right.
And Caroline's like, I have no idea. Or not Caroline, sorry. And Danielle's like, I have no idea what's being referred to. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about whatsoever. Caroline says she can't forgive. She's pointing her finger at Danielle, and she goes, what you did is so disgraceful. I am not buying it. And you know what you did. And Caroline is literally sobbing. I love my family and I will protect them with everything I have. But what you did, you are garbage. You are disgraceful. Caroline's freaking out. You know? Caroline's freaking out, and like she's crumbling, and like she literally can't sit there, and she's freaking out about Danielle. Dina is literally saying nothing. She's just like sitting there. And Caroline says
Dina's just sitting there.
Dina says nothing. She's just sitting there, and Caroline is like, I tried, and maybe Dina's a better person than me, but this is beyond. And so and all the ladies apparently know what this is, but they're not telling us because Dina doesn't want it to be brought up. So it's just, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is a hit.
Yeah,
Like, what the
right.
fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
Danielle's like, I have no idea what's going on.
Because why are you
There's
shaking?
no emotion. Um, and this is literally how the show ends. Okay, so I was like, okay, what the fuck? Reddit must know.
That's literally how it ends. That's it.
I
The
swear to
episode's
God,
over.
that's how it ends.
Oh my
Like,
God.
literally, that's the end.
No, I believe you. That's just fucking crazy.
Caroline is panting, literally panting. Danielle's confused. Jacqueline is like disassociated because she's about to give fucking birth. I think that she goes like literally to the hospital from this.
Yes.
Like it's just such an awkward conclusion. And Danielle's just like staring at Caroline, and Andy just goes, "Well, you two are having babies, so that's good." And like that's the end of the episode. It's so bizarre. I felt like that was a weird way to end it. So I just want to give the background on just what those comments were. And then we'll be done. But so there was a Reddit thread where it's quoting Dina in this like two-part interview that she did on Heather McDonald's podcast. I don't know if you've ever seen Heather McDonald. You probably have. She's like a big Bravo podcaster.
Okay.
It's called Juicy Scoop. So Dina has gone on her podcast in the last few years since she had her falling out with Caroline. And she's very open about this whole conversation.
Yes.
And she says it was not nearly as dramatic as Caroline was making it out to be. Basically, Danielle stuck her nose into Dina's business. And she reached out to Lexi's father and tried to convince him to not allow Lexi to be filmed on the show.
What the fuck?
Which is crazy. That's a crazy thing. That is a crazy thing. But the way that apparently Caroline was going around and repeating this was that Caroline was saying that Danielle was trying to get Dina's custody taken away. That is not the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. Obviously, Lexi's father, the minute he was approached and like,
yeah,
and Danielle's trying to convince him to not allow Lexi to be filmed, he doesn't side with Danielle. He goes to Dina and tells her about this. Right. And Dina was pissed and didn't want anything to do with Danielle after that. But like, she also didn't want to talk about any of this stuff on camera. Because she didn't want to talk about her custody situation. She didn't want to talk about Lexi in that capacity, about the father of her child in that capacity. So like she asked Caroline to not bring it up. So Caroline's making this whole big thing, insinuating that there's this custody stuff because there's these rumors apparently going on at the time. She's insinuating that that Danielle was trying to get Dina's custody taken away, which is so fucking different. To me, it just sounds like a stupid, inappropriate, desperate attempt by Danielle to have some sort of power. I also don't even understand why. I mean, honestly, I would have missed Lexi if she wasn't on this season. Yeah. She was a great asset, but it's just such a random, weird. It's a violation of privacy for sure, but it's not illegal.
Right. Yeah. It's also not a hit.
Yeah. So yeah, no, not at all. And Caroline was explicitly asked by Dina to not bring it up at the reunion.
But Dina of course she had to because she's a fucking narcissist.
And Dina says in this conversation with Heather McDonald that Caroline put the show above family. And that's really what caused their big rift. Like that was, Caroline cared about that drama. She wanted to bring it forward. And while they've sort of made up a couple of times, and they've tried to coexist in some capacity, there's this drama about leaving Tommy and moving on that it only causes them to fight more. And it just, apparently it didn't sound like Dina would ever make up with Caroline. Like there's just too many. Caroline always chose her Manzo family and she chose the show and she never chose Dina. So that was really her big rift with Caroline in the end. So that is basically the big drama that Caroline had a fucking meltdown over. You are so disgraceful about literally just saying, hey, what if you didn't have Lexi film? if anything, that's just embarrassing for Danielle. That's just so embarrassing
Yeah.
for you.
So
It's
embarrassing.
inappropriate too. Like,
Yeah.
obviously you shouldn't be doing that, but what the fuck?
That's
Caroline,
just such
calm
weird
the fuck
behavior.
down.
Yeah, Caroline,
Like,
you need
it's
to chill the
just
fuck out.
literally you're going to have a heart attack. Like,
Yeah.
calm down. It's not. And again, Dina asked you not to bring this up. So that's why Dina's silent.
Right.
But
Because she didn't want to
Dina,
talk about it.
yeah, she wanted to like be the bigger person, not say anything and move
Right.
forward. And
Right.
Caroline chose to. Now there's speculation, right? Right? Because now Dina had to go on and
Right.
talk about this and
Well,
talk
yeah,
about
here
her
I am sitting
custody and
thinking it was a
everything.
fucking hit. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like now you have to talk about it because you wouldn't shut up. So
Right.
Caroline
Yeah.
once again showing that she is not a very loyal sister.
The signs were there all
And
along.
Danielle once again showing that she's a fucking crazy person and does not know a boundary if it's hitting her in the face. She
No.
never heard of
Which
it.
it does end up hitting her in the face later, but
It does. It does. Remember the extensions,
yes,
everybody. It's
please.
gonna be like 6 months down the road, but remember the
Yeah. Yeah.
extensions. But
What a way
yeah.
to end the reunion. So cryptic, but I mean, what did we expect, honestly, from a season one reunion?
Yeah,
Could
it
have gone
was
worse. Could have
so
gone worse.
confusing. Can't wait
That
to
was
see
great,
that.
Maggie. Thank you so much for
Yeah, thank you
recapping
for
that for us.
joining me.
Of
Yeah,
course.
we have made it through finally this
Yes.
season.
Yes. Should
And
we dumpster dive?
I think we should.
Ooh.
What's in the
Garbage.
Alrighty. So, I decided that for our dumpster diving today, we should choose someone new, a little bit of an outsider, but knows all the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go dumpster diving in Andy Cohen's dumpster. We got to see what's in his
Genius.
garbage.
Genius. Are we
Yes.
dumpster diving in his garbage at the time of the reunion or in the present?
At the time of the reunion.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna go into that like time machine back to 2000 and June 2009 when this was
Mm-hmm.
filmed. And Andy's living in New York. He's childless. He's recent producer of the Housewives
Mm-hmm.
series. And what would be in his garbage at this point?
Okay, I definitely think in his garbage is like that really dark colored tanning oil that people have been using that's like a lotion, almost like a paste to
Okay.
tan. Like I could see him going to like Long Island and tanning with that. So I think
Okay.
that's like a bunch of empty containers of that. That's one thing in his garbage.
Okay.
Second in his garbage are like worn out, like run through like Perry Ellis like water shoes. You know what I'm
Okay.
talking about?
Okay. No. I have no idea what you're saying.
They're like the boater shoes, like the typical
Oh,
douche frat guy
yes. Okay.
shoes. I think there's a
Okay.
bunch of worn out pairs of those.
Okay.
And then I also think in the garbage is his several contracts that he probably negotiated to get more money because he knew what a star he was going to be from day one.
Okay. I think that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in
Thank you very much.
Andy's garbage.
What do you think is an Andy Cohen's garbage?
So I think there's definitely going to be some more contracts, but specifically the multiple contracts that Teresa Giudice had to go through before she agreed to be on this show.
Yes,
So it's like
yes.
all of the addendums to this
Yeah.
contract
Yeah.
so that like they don't have to report their income to the IRS.
Yeah.
That's definitely he just threw it away. He didn't even shred it. He was like, yeah, this is garbage.
The garbage.
In the garbage. As a New Yorker, I think that Andy probably also definitely has those, you know, those coffee cups from like a
Yes, the blue
like a
ones.
Greek, yeah, like
yes.
the Greek.
Yeah. I love those.
He definitely
Those
has
are all
that.
over SVU.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, so I think he definitely has a lot of those in his garbage. And then finally, I think that Andy also in his garbage, I think he saved the tablecloth from the table flipping. And he was like, okay, I don't have like a Watch What Happens Live set yet, but I am going to keep this for in memoriam. But then he realized it was covered in food and liquor and it smelled terrible. So he threw it in the garbage.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing picks.
Yep. That's what's in Andy Cohen's dumpster.
Amazing.
And I can't believe that's our last dumpster dive. We gotta go take a
know.
shower. I'm filthy. I smell.
Such a dirty girl.
Ew. I'm clean enough.
No, but this has been so fun. What a fun first season. The next seasons are really long, so we'll get a lot of good like episodes out of they're not really long, they're just much longer than this first season. I think this first season ended up being like
it's like
8
double
episodes.
the length. Yeah, just about.
Thanks to everybody who's listened and watched since day one. We have like 6 5-star reviews on Spotify, which is pretty cool.
Wonderful. You guys should also look at the poll and answer our poll questions.
Yeah, it's
a game for me and Selma because we're the only ones who answer.
We come up with the question and then we also answer it. No, but this really has been so fun. So thanks to everybody who listens and gives us feedback, and thanks most importantly to Daddy Cohen for giving us these shows.
Truly, he found stars. It was beautiful, and it really was. This cast was like lightning in a bottle. Like it didn't strike twice. It just isn't the same.
Yeah.
There are good moments in Jersey going forward, but like this
nothing like the first season.
It's special.
Yeah. It's I hold it very near and dear to my heart, which is why we chose to start the podcast with New Jersey.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. We post a full video podcast on our YouTube channel at Real Girls of Gabbing. Stay in touch with us on Instagram and TikTok at Real Girls of Gabbing. For media and partnership inquiries, reach out to us at realgirlsofgabbing@gmail.com. We can't wait to gab with you.